Hello and welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we are dealing with Revelation 1-2. As always, I ask or I recommend that you have your reader's edition of the Greek New Testament handy. This is what you should be working from and using the video, me up here, as sort of a source of information that's guiding your own work through the text itself. So what we'll do is we'll do two different readings of the text. We'll take a pause for you to spend some time with the text on your own, see what sense you can make of it, and then I'll jump in and offer some information. So let's start with a nice slow reading first. Hos emarturesin ton logon to theu kai tain marturion Iesu Christu Hasa Aiden. All right, let's read one more time, this time a little bit faster. Hos emarturesin ton logon to theu kai tain marturion Iesu Christu Hasa Aiden. So at this point, go ahead and pause, see what sense you can make of the text. You might be able to translate the whole thing on your own with your helps from the reader's edition of the Greek New Testament, or you might only recognize a word or two. Either way is fine. Just take a few minutes on your own, and then I'll jump back in and give you some helps. All right. As is often the case, to make sense of what is happening in this verse, we have to look to the previous context and see what's going on there, because in this case, the hos here is going to have an antecedent that is in the previous verse. So this hos here, notice the rough breathing mark on hos. The rough breathing mark is our sign that this is a relative pronoun. So remember, sort of my mnemonic is when I see a rough breathing mark, I think relative pronoun. Rough, relative, rough breathing mark, relative pronoun. In this case, it's nominative, masculine, singular. So it's going to be a who is doing something, namely the action of this indicative verb right here, which we'll parse in just a moment. But first we have to figure out who the who is referring to. What is the antecedent of the who, which is going to match in gender and in number. So something in the previous context that is masculine and singular is going to be the antecedent of hos and is going to be sort of resumed in this verse. So when we look back, the word right before it, ioane, is masculine, singular, and in the dative case. But even though it's in the dative case in the previous context, a relative pronoun does not need to match its antecedent in case, only in gender and number. So ioane, John, a masculine singular entity, is the antecedent for hos here. So John did this, emarturesin, and what we have here is an aorist active indicative, third person singular from martureo. And so that's bear witness or testified. I think we'll probably do testify, because we're going to have the repetition of the noun form of this verb over here. That's we're going to probably translate witness. So who witnessed, and the things that John witnessed or bore testimony to are ton logon to theu. So that's one of our objects. We have two objects in the accusative here, ton logon and te marturion. So in this case, we have an accusative masculine singular object. Over here, we have a feminine accusative singular object. I think I might have said the wrong thing here. Masculine accusative singular. I'm not sure if that's what I said. Masculine accusative singular, feminine accusative singular over here. Both of these, the objects of what John is bearing witness or testifying about, namely the word of God and Kai, connecting these two, the witness of Jesus Christ. And this last part, Hasa Eden, might have been the most difficult for you in the sentence because you might not be accustomed to seeing this Hasa, or may not be very familiar to you. This is what is called a correlative pronoun, and we translate it usually as much as. And in this case, it is a neuter accusative plural. So notice this ah ending sort of looks like the ending of the neuter accusative plural definite article ta. So it's going to be the object, let's do this in blue, of this verb here, Aden, which is going to be a second aorist active indicative, third person singular, from harao, which means I see. So in the past tense, in the aorist tense, it's going to be saw, and third person singular. So he saw, namely John saw, as much as he saw. So let's put it all together. Who testified or bore witness to the word of God and the witness of Jesus Christ as much as he saw. So he testified the word of God and the witness of Jesus Christ. And this hasa, this correlative pronoun, is correlating back to these objects as much as he saw about the word of God and the witness of Jesus Christ. And what I want to do is make one final comment about sort of how this chain has unveiled, this chain of revelation in the book of Revelation, how it's sort of progressed in these first two verses. If you remember back to verse 1, God, let's do it in a different color here to make things a little bit more clear. Remember, God gave a revelation to Jesus Christ, who gave a revelation to his slaves, his doulos, slaves or servants. And then we have, moving sort of from the slaves to the next part in the chain of revelation here, we have that participle where Jesus is sending through his messenger or his angel. He sends the message through his angel to John, and John is called Jesus's slave or servant. So there's a way in which John is included in this category here, but the message is mediated through an angel to John, which is one of the things that makes Revelation an apocalyptic text. We have visions mediated from a heavenly figure, namely an angel. But what's sort of unique about Revelation is that it's not just God through an intermediary to a seer. We have God through Jesus Christ, then through an intermediary to a seer. So this is the chain that's sort of been unraveling, or that's been progressing throughout these first two verses of Revelation.